Welcome back to Euro Football Daily, where today we're running down 10 transfers we'd like to see happen this summer. 10. Andrea Belotti to Roma. Could this be the summer we finally see Andrea Belotti leave Torino? 6 years on from his €8.4 million move from Palermo and 4 years after being made club captain, it looks very likely. With just a year remaining on his contract, his club can no longer demand the lofty fee they once valued him at, and it's expected an offer of between 30 and 40 million euros will be enough to see him out of Turin. At the time of writing, Roma are reported to be leading the race for his signature, and a centre-forward of his calibre would certainly be a welcome addition to the Giallorossi. It's no secret that Roma possess one of the oldest forward lines in Europe, with Pedro, Mkhitaryan and Dzeko all very much in their 30s. Mkhitaryan has been superb this term. The club are set to welcome back younger attackers in Justin Kluivert and Cengiz Ünder, and they also have Borja Mayoral for another year. But a striker of Belotti's quality can't be passed up easily. The Italian international has hit 105 goals in 226 appearances across the last 6 seasons, and has consistently averaged over 3 shots a game for the last 3, despite the side around him getting progressively worse, narrowly escaping relegation for the last 2 seasons. And while there are other areas of the Roma team that need serious work this summer, namely the back line, getting Belotti in would give their hopes of Champions League qualification a big boost, especially if it means a direct rival missing out on him. 9. Rodrigo De Paul to AC Milan. Having qualified for the Champions League for the first time since 2013, Milan can finally count themselves among the Italian elite once again. And if they want to continue their rise, signing one of Serie A's elite players would be a good start. Rodrigo De Paul has had another excellent campaign in an otherwise average Udinese side, leading the squad for goals and assists with 9 apiece, while only Hakan Çalhanoğlu and Luis Alberto beat his 2.3 key passes a game in the Italian top flight. And if Çalhanoğlu ends up leaving the San Siro with his contract situation still unresolved as this goes out, the Argentinian playmaker would be a perfect replacement for him. And if the Turkish star stays, De Paul could still start alongside him too. While he's played exclusively through the centre in the last 2 years, the former Valencia man has also fulfilled roles on the left and right in earlier campaigns, and given Alexis Salamakers and David Calabria averaged 2 chances per 90 between them this year, they could certainly do with more creativity on the right flank. With 3 years left on his current deal and a reported €30 million price tag, the 27-year-old can't be signed on a whim. But he's certainly good enough to play in the Champions League and would surely be a guaranteed starter at the San Siro. Before we move on to our next section, if you're enjoying this video so far, why not leave it a like? And if you're unsubscribed to Euro Football Daily, what on earth are you doing? Hit that subscribe button so you never miss another great EFD video like this one. 8. Emiliano Buendia to Arsenal. A transfer many of us expected to see happen last summer, Emiliano Buendia ended up staying at Norwich and hitting the form of his life back in the Championship, hitting 15 goals and 16 assists to see the Canaries promoted back to the big time. And with his contract not up until 2024, it will take a sizable fee to get him out of Carrow Road. But following another disappointing campaign, one of the key areas in which Arsenal have lacked is in creativity. This season they ranked 11th in the league for shots, below Wolves, and 12th in the league for chances created, below relegated Fulham. Buendia has averaged 3.3 chances per 90 this term, and even while his side struggled in the Prem last season, was still laying on 3 a game. The last gunner to hit those kind of numbers was, yes you guessed it, Mesut Ozil, all the way back in 2017-18. The loan signing of Martin Ødegaard and the emergence of Emil Smith-Rowe has made the picture at the Emirates somewhat brighter in this regard, but with the Norwegian star not guaranteed to stay this summer, and with Nicola Pepe creating just 0.6 chances a game this term, a new option on the right would be very welcome. Bring Buendia in and we could see increased output across the Gunners' forward line. 7. Adam Armstrong to Brighton. Ivan Toney may have made most of the headlines with his record-breaking goal haul in the Championship, but Blackburn striker Adam Armstrong was arguably just as impressive in the 2021 campaign. With 28 goals and 5 assists in 40 appearances, the former Newcastle man registered a goal contribution every 105 minutes, while his 4.9 shots per 90 was by far the highest average in the league and a huge leap from his previous best of 2.9. As a result, Blackburn ranked second for expected goals per game behind champions Norwich, despite finishing 15th, 20 points off the playoffs. With just 1 year left on his contract, Armstrong is very gettable this summer, even if his club stand to make a big profit on the £1.7 million they paid for him in 2018. And one club who should definitely be interested in him is Brighton. The Seagulls have endured a frustrating season, defined by their strikers' inability to finish big chances, with Neil Maupay their top scorer on 8. Two-footed, able to create, and with his finishing ability and movement in the box improving, Armstrong looks ready to make the step up to the top flight, and could give Graham Potter the clinical edge he's crying out for. 6. Sven Botman to Chelsea. Most of the talk surrounding Chelsea this summer will focus on their lack of an out-and-out goalscorer and the possibility of Declan Rice returning to Stamford Bridge. But while their improved defence has been the defining factor in Thomas Tuchel's success in West London, it still needs investment. And considering the Blues don't possess a naturally left-sided centre-back, shifting away from the 3 at the back system, which has been incredibly functional but a little dull, may require signing one. Lille's Sven Botman has been one of the outstanding young defenders in Europe this term, and possesses the technical and physical qualities needed to succeed in the Premier League. He wins 3.1 aerial duels a game, more than any Chelsea defender bar Zuma, while his 4.7 progressive passes per 90 is only beaten by Thiago Silva. And at just 21, he still has plenty of time to develop the ball-playing side of his game. Signed for just €8 million last summer, the Dutch international is now valued between 40 and 50 million, but he could be worth a title challenge for the Blues. 5. Jadon Sancho to Man United. Following the Super League debacle and the sustained protests which followed it, it appears the Glazers could attempt to appease Man United fans this summer, and this will almost certainly happen in the transfer market. But while the club have registered an interest in Harry Kane, they can realistically only afford to make one £80 million plus signing this summer, and that should be Jadon Sancho. Their efforts to sign the young forward last summer were a calamity, but the Englishman is available for a lower fee this time round, and the Red Devils still don't seem to face much competition to sign him. And while Mason Greenwood has hit great form at the back end of the season, it wasn't the case earlier in the campaign, and it's clear the teenager's future lies at centre forward. Amad Traore is promising but still very raw, while Dan James isn't technically good enough to hold down the right flank long term. Signing Sancho would maximise the potential of the United attack in a way few other signings would. Centre-back and central midfield need to be looked at too, but sorting the right wing position, which has been neglected at Old Trafford for the best part of a decade, should be the priority. 4. Milot Rashica to Borussia Dortmund. If Dortmund do sell Sancho this summer, they will need reinforcements in the attack. And while it may be tempting to suggest a big money replacement for the Englishman, we all know the German giant's penchant for a bargain pickup, and Werder Bremen's Milot Rashica would be a good candidate in this regard. Having helped Die Werderaner stay in the Bundesliga by a whisker last term, Rashica didn't have nearly as much influence this season as they suffered relegation for the first time in 41 years. The Kosovan forward registered just 3 goals and 1 assist, down from 8 goals and 5 assists in 2019-20. However, in a side which ranked second bottom for non-penalty expected goals, Rashica's underlying numbers have remained decent. 2.6 shots per 90, including 1.5 in the box, 1.2 key passes and 2.2 successful dribbles, more than Leverkusen's Moussa Diaby. Valued at just €10 million and with his contract up next year, the 24-year-old is set to go for cheap this summer. With BVB already linked with PSV winger Noni Madueke, the more versatile Rashica would also be an excellent addition to Marco Rose's side. 3. Filip Kostic to Inter Milan. Despite winning a first Serie A title since 2010 and by an 11-point margin, Inter are facing a troublesome summer, with talk of the club having to scale back ambitions due to its financial woes and Antonio Conte now gone. But nevertheless, if they can find money to spend in the transfer market, the area of the side which needs particular investment is the left wing-back slot, where Ivan Perisic and Ashley Young have shared minutes this year. They've been far from a disaster, contributing to 13 goals between them. But considering Inter have had Frankfurt's Filip Kostic in their sights before, it's a no-brainer who we'd rather see running the left flank opposite Achraf Hakimi. Kostic has had another tremendous season in the Bundesliga, hitting double figures for assists for the 3rd consecutive campaign and contributing to almost 20 goals in total. And he's no slouch defensively either, marrying 3.2 key passes per 90 with 2.8 tackles and interceptions, clearly beating Young and Perisic in both metrics. At 28, the Serbian international has tons of experience but is also at his physical peak. if he can be secured, provided the new manager plays a similar system and they don't lose more than one of their star players, Inter can be confident of challenging for the title again next season. 2. Eduardo Camavinga to Real Madrid. One of the outstanding teenage talents in world football, it's a shame we won't be seeing Eduardo Camavinga at this summer's Euros. However, that may be good news for suitors of the young midfielder, given the tendency of international tournaments to inflate players' market value. The fact he's also rejected the chance to extend his contract with Rennes also means he will be available for far less than the €80 million plus price tag we initially saw floating around his name. And this would no doubt suit Real Madrid, who have long been linked with the Frenchman and are unlikely to have huge amounts to spend in the upcoming window. While Kroos and Modric hit some of their best form in years this season, the Real midfield is overdue some rejuvenation, with almost no cover in defensive midfield and Casemiro often playing in a more advanced role this term. Sign Kamavinga and he can develop alongside two of the 21st century's very best before taking up the mantle with Fede Valverde. But with Zidane no longer in the dugout, Real may no longer be the youngster's first choice. 1. Harry Kane to Man City. We may consider the minimum £120 million needed to get Harry Kane out of Tottenham too much for Man United, but over at rival City it doesn't seem like the worst bet. Pep Guardiola needs a Sergio Aguero replacement, and the kind of output Kane is capable of could further increase the divide between his team and the chasing pack in the Premier League. Equally, if he does succumb to injury, we already know the rest of the attacking formation can adapt, while his evolution into a more deep-lying centre-forward also suits Pep's style of play. City may not need Kane's abilities in the transition as much as Spurs do, with KDB arguably the best long-range passer in the Prem, but his supreme movement and finishing ability will give the side's attack an even bigger clinical edge against tough opposition. And while their canter to a 5th Premier League crown suggests that a huge signing isn't that necessary right now, City's attack has still dropped off, with their goal tally dropping to 83 from 102 last season and expected goals dropping from 102 to 78. With the England captain at the Etihad, the citizens will have even less trouble challenging on 4 fronts. So those were our 10 transfers we'd like to see happen this summer, but what did you make of them and do you have any shouts yourself? Let us know in the comments. As I said earlier, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave us a like as it really helps us with the algorithm. And as always, thanks for watching. See you next time.